Welcome back to Gabe Herman All-Star Sports. I'm your host, Gabe Herman, and today we're joined by co-host Rob. Rob, how are you doing today?
Good to be back. It's been a little while, right? I'm
Yes.
happy to be here with you, my brother.
But we are back and better than ever, Rob. Today is our NBA playoff special. I'm super excited to do the show today. We have a lot of great stuff in this show, so let's jump right in.
Looking forward to it.
So Rob, the fans want to know, do you really think, there are some rumors out there, that a number 8 seed could possibly take down a number 1 seed this year? Do you think it's possible?
Well, my first question back to you is, do you think that things are really different this year with the whole bubble and no home court advantage? So my question back to you is, do you think things are different enough for 8 seed to beat a 1 seed?
I think so. I think the Blazers do have a real shot. It definitely hurts that 3 of their key players are out. Rodney Hood, Zach Collins, and Trevor Ariza are all out for the Blazers, so that definitely hurts their chances. But they won game 1 last night, and game 2 is today at 9 p.m., so I'm definitely excited to watch that. I really do think the Blazers have a strong team, and especially with no home court advantage for number 1 seed this year, this is the year to do it for a number 8 seed. So I think the Blazers are going to make an upset and pull it off against the Lakers.
Wow, you and Charles Barkley, huh?
Yep.
Yeah, what about in the Eastern Conference? What do you think about that 8-1 matchup?
The Magic took game 1, but I think the Bucks have just too much power on that team to lose that series. I mean, if they lose, that's just embarrassing for them. Flat out embarrassing.
Yeah, I wonder how it would impact Giannis's decisions in free agency if they lost in the first round to Orlando. But it's such an odd year, right? We're playing in a bubble. Things are different. Players are missing. It's a very different year than usual. But what's cool about it is it's a wide open field. You don't know who's going to win the championship.
Anyone could take it this year. This is the year to do it, Rob.
Yep, absolutely agree. 8-1 seeds. We thought we'd be talking about, upsets in the first game on both sides. I don't know. Has it ever happened before where a 1 seed's lost to an 8 seed in both conferences?
I definitely hope that an 8 seed can make a run in the playoffs, or just an underdog. I always love the underdog stories.
You and me, we love the underdogs, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
My second question for you, Rob, here today is, so this Philadelphia 76ers are down 2-0 against the Celtics. Is there any chance they can still come out on top in the series?
That's a great question, and man, nobody really would have thought, as the 76ers built up talent, they'd be making first-round playoff exits. It's really disappointing for them. So, I don't think they can win this series. They're down 2-0. I think Joel Embiid's a great player, but they're missing a lot of pieces. He's got, not really terribly strong supporting cast around him. So disappointing for the Sixers, but I think this is it. I don't think they're going to make it to the second round.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you there. They filled up all that talent there, but it just turns out they haven't really gotten any better.
What do they do next year if they lose in the first round?
No, they gotta make some changes. Hopefully, I would love to see them come out on top and make kind of a comeback here in the series, but I don't know if it's gonna happen, Rob.
Do Simmons and Embiid play together next year?
It's a hard one. I guess we'll have to find out in free agency this year.
Yep, we'll see.
I think so. I think hopefully they can stay on the team.
Yeah.
And they'll have enough star power to hopefully make a run soon.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right. So Rob, I know we both love under the radar teams. Is there any teams in the East or the West that you could see possibly, like any under the radar teams you could see making it all the way or making a deep playoff run?
I think the favorite has been Milwaukee. Maybe that changed a little bit since they lost Orlando in game 1. I think Toronto's no longer really an underdog off the radar team, right? Because they had a really good regular season. But I would take some satisfaction, even if they lost Kawhi Leonard, for them to be able to make it back to the finals. So they're my kind of pick, although it's not much of a long shot. But also, you got to say, any Brad Stevens coach team has a chance. So maybe the Celtics have a shot at it too. What about you? What do you think?
Yeah, I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me in the comments. And by the way, feel free to post any opinions on this in the comments. We would love to read your comments. But I think that the Raptors have a better shot of making it all the way than the Bucks.
Interesting. Why?
I feel like they've been more successful in the playoffs, and Giannis is still kind of young. This team is still getting their chemistry together, and they haven't been playing for long, only a couple years now. I just feel like the Raptors have been at it for longer than them, and they have more veteran experience on that team. I just feel like they have a better shot. They've done it before, made it to the finals. They won last year, so I feel like they could do it again.
Wow, interesting. Yeah, I like the Raptors too. They're pretty deep, so we'll see. But they do have some battle-tested performers, even without Kawhi, and that'll be interesting to see how that plays out. So thanks for putting that out there, because I think that could be a really interesting scenario.
Do you have any teams on the West, or?
Well, I like you. I'm intrigued with the Blazers beating the Lakers. If the Blazers beat the Lakers in a series, like you and your friend Charles Barkley are saying, then the Blazers have a shot as well as anybody. But, it's a good question. I think, really a lot of those teams in the West have a shot because the Clippers are good. I don't think they're by any means dominant. And I think all the teams from 1 to 8 have a shot at it. It seems unlikely that the lower seeds are going to move forward, but even the 3, 6, and 4, 5 matchups, all of those are good, solid teams. The West is so stacked. So I think there's a lot of players. It'd be interesting to see the Blazers, if they do beat the Lakers, how they proceed. What about you?
Well, I think, as I already said before, that I think the Blazers are going to pull off an upset here. I think they can do it, and the Lakers are going to go out in the first round. So with the Lakers out, the only other really big team I'm looking at here is the Clippers. I mean, they just have so much talent on that team, and I want to see them win a championship this year, Rob.
Well, right. With the exception, I don't think, for example, Oklahoma City is going to go all the way. But I hear you on the Clippers, and I hear you, on the Blazers. But Utah, Denver, they're all good teams, right? So
yeah, but are they good enough to make it to the top?
I don't know. That's a good question. In a year like this, anything's possible. It'll be a lot of fun to watch it.
Definitely a lot of fun to watch it. Some great moments. We're going to have some great times, Rob.
Yeah, absolutely. Watching it together with you is always good.
Now moving on to one of my favorite parts of the show. We have our trivia.
Oh, I love trivia.
This week we have an NBA playoff special, Rob. I'm super excited. Guys, remember to comment your answers down below for a shout out in the next episode.
Yeah, shout out, maybe a prize. Who
Maybe
knows?
a cookie.
Yeah. Really good chocolate chip cookies. Let's say that.
Here's our trivia question for today. Who holds the record for the most rebounds in a playoff game, Rob?
That's a great question. I have some thoughts in my head of who it might be, but I won't say anything so we can let people comment and respond, and look forward to getting the answers. What's your guess of how many people will have the right answer?
I'm gonna say 2 people. I'm pretty confident that kind of like half people, some people will get it right. Some people look it up Google.
Yeah, right.
So I'm pretty confident. I think our fans can get it right.
Yep, sounds good to me. Love the trivia question.
A lot of great rebounds in the playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now I know you guys have all been waiting for us to do this. Rob, I want to hear who you think is going to come out on the top of the West, top of the East, who's going to win the series, and how many games they're going to win it by.
Gosh, you're putting me in the spot.
Yep.
That's a tough one. Well, if you look at the stat line of LeBron James in a loss the other day, it says 2 things, right? One is that his supporting cast is not nearly as strong as it should be, but also that LeBron, coming up on his 36th birthday, is still a dominant player. An easy triple-double. It was a crazy stat line. So I still think the Lakers are going to end up pulling it out in the West. I know, you feel differently, and I could be dead wrong. Who knows? They could get swept by the Blazers. I think it'll be Lakers Raptors, to your point about the Raptors. A shout out to our family in Toronto. And I think it'll be the Lakers in 6.
Wow, it's crazy how LeBron can still do it at 36, I think, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Get 36 in December.
Those players are already washed down by now, but it's just so amazing how he can still do it.
Yeah, it is.
I'm excited to see how long he can go for. How many more years do you think he can dominate for?
I think, a couple years, and then his body will start to give. He's been playing since in the NBA since he was 18. But now I want to hear your pick, because I value your perspective on this. I want to hear your thoughts.
All right, so obviously on the West, I'm going to say the Clippers. They're just too powerful. Nobody can stop the Clippers. No one's going to beat the Clippers.
All right.
They're obviously going to come on top. And in the East, I think I'm going to go with the Raptors here. For me, it was definitely a hard choice. It was really between the Raptors and the Celtics. I know many people are doubting the Celtics, but with the great coaching of Brad Stevens, and they now have Kemba Walker on that team. It's his first year for the Celtics. They've been great this year. I think they're gonna win. They're definitely gonna win the first series against the Sixers here. So they were kind of an underdog, but I'm still gonna go with the Raptors here. But I'm gonna kind of do an upset here. I think the Raptors are gonna take it.
Wow. Okay. Well, I'm going to Vegas and putting my money on the Raptors then.
Raptors take it in 6.
All right. Excellent. Great show, Gabe.
Yep, we encourage you guys to comment your finals picks. We're interested to see response to them maybe in the next show, Rob.
Yeah, absolutely. We'd love to share the comments in the next show. And I want to give a shout out to our production crew headed up by your colleague, Benjamin Henry Herman.
Thank you so much, Benji. We're going to end up there. Thank you guys so much for watching this show. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll see you next time on Gabe Herman All-Stars.